Hello and welcome to Important Learning, the home for the best stories live at KLU Logistics University. Navigate with us through the life experience of our students and let yourself be inspired by their challenges and their achievements. Here we go. Creative, brave, persistent, organized, passionate, and of course, sustainable. These are some of the characteristics that define our guests of today, brothers Finn and Lasse Homfeld. They are the creators of Southern Shores, the first company in Germany that provides truly 100% sustainable yoga mats and accessories. And we are so proud of having these two entrepreneurial minds here with us to tell us about their experience. Hello, Lasse. Thank you.
Hi, glad to be here.
And Finn, thank you for accompanying us today here.
Hi, thanks for having us.
Beyond their family bond, their brothers, and their professional connection, running together Southern Shores, Finn and Lasse also share another tie, and that is that both of them have passed through the classrooms of KLU. Lasse graduated from his master's in management in 2020, and Finn will be as well throwing his graduation hat in 2023 when he expects to finish his bachelor's in business administration. With this acquired business knowledge and with their passion and their energy, they have embarked in an adventure full of challenges and excitement. To start, I would say I'm very curious about the name of the company. Like, why Southern Shores? We're not precisely in the South.
Yeah, I think it was mostly just brainstorming. We had, I don't know how many names thrown around, like looking at what might work. From the beginning on, our goal was to like link yoga and surfing and like the ocean protection. And we're probably going to talk about later as well. And then Southern Shores just, sounded good to us, I guess. I mean, it's not a like inspiring story about how the name came together and some deeper meaning. It was pretty much just thinking about what fits to the company, what fits the brand, and then just throwing dozens of words around and dozens of names around.
We talk about all of that because we're gonna see about the vision and the mission of the company, this sustainability that is behind it. So I'm sure that at the end of the interview, we're going to have a clear idea of like, oh, yeah, totally, that was fitting. That was the right name to take for it. What makes Southern Shores different to what was already out in the market when you guys decided to start this?
Yeah, so at first glance, if you look at a lot of yoga products, you might believe or you might think that there are already a lot of sustainable options out there. But the biggest problem we thought was that most of the sustainable products are really mostly sustainable on paper, but not in reality. So there's a lot of greenwashing going on in the yoga industry. And we pretty much set out to do truly sustainable products without any greenwashing. And we looked at existing products, what they say is sustainable about the products. And then we just made them more sustainable. So one big problem is that most yoga companies don't use actually sustainable raw materials. They simply say, hey, look, the materials we're using are sustainable because they are natural, which is like saying palm oil is natural, is sustainable because it's natural, right? Doesn't make a lot of sense. So we are actually using sustainable and certified raw materials, and that's sadly one of the factors that set us apart from our competition. Sadly, because it also means that a lot of companies are still using unsustainable materials.
It's good for you because it's a unique selling point, but bad for the planet, let's say, because probably you're the only ones doing it. How did you come up with this opportunity? How was this market research? And you said like, oh, there's a gap there. Like people is not really doing everything 100% sustainable. Or how did that come?
Well, I think first we thought about going into the sports goods industry. And afterwards we just brainstormed about which products might make sense. And we saw that there was a bubble to be filled because, as Lasse already told you, there were many companies claiming to be sustainable, but actually weren't sustainable. And yeah, so we wanted to change that and wanted to be truly sustainable, not like only with our materials we use, but also with the projects we are doing besides selling the products.
Mm-hmm. Let's backtrack a little bit, though. Let's go to the very, very beginnings, because beginnings of an entrepreneurship, I find always very fascinating. There was always, a good story, a nice conversation in a cafe or something. How did you decide to start this company?
Well, my brothers and I inherited some money when we were younger, and we didn't just want to put it in stock options. We wanted to build something ourselves and make other people maybe benefit from the prospective future good impact the company might have. And I think it was Christmas Eve 2017 when I told Lasse that I wanted to build a company within the sports goods industry. And yeah, well, afterwards, I think we had some conversations, some brainstorming, and we ended up in the yoga mats industry. And yeah, I think that's the story, how it started. First, it was just a stupid idea, but it got pretty serious in the end. And I think we are on a good path.
Nobody normally takes seriously what you talk on a Christmas Eve dinner. Normally it's just, oh yeah, we should totally buy a bar. We should totally do this or that. And then, it kind of stays there. But for you guys, that was the starting point of a real deal.
Yes.
And you mentioned that the investment came from a little inheritance that you guys had, which I would say you took the risk to do that, because you could have perfectly, as you said, save the money and make it work for you in other ways. But you said, gotta do this. I have this money now. I can do something with it.
Yeah, I think all of us thought that we're still pretty young. We do still have a lot of years left to earn money if that doesn't work out. So I think if you take risk, it's probably best to take them when you're still young, because if it doesn't work out, you still have a lot of time left, right, to restart again. So I think it was pretty, obvious for us to take the risks, and also I think we didn't really see it as a risk anyway, because I think from the beginning we were pretty sure that would work, just because it was pretty obvious to us that there was a need in the market there, and probably it was a bit naive. We didn't write any business cases or business plans or whatever. But it worked out in the end, I guess.
I think I've heard that many times from different entrepreneurs. This entrepreneurial mindset of I just went for it, and maybe I was stupid, but it worked out. So there's always this feeling of, I can do this. And I think it's very beautiful, because I completely can feel that that's something that many entrepreneurial mindsets share. So it's fascinating. While you guys started a company, while all of this is happening, Lasse, you are studying your master's in management here at KLU. And of course, that takes a lot of investment of time and efforts as well. How did you get to combine your studies with starting a company, which is not just working for a company, but it's starting your own thing?
Yeah.
How did that work?
It was a lot of hard work, obviously, but also a lot of fun. And I think KLU definitely provided a great opportunity to do both at the same time. I think the biggest difference between German state universities and KLU probably is that at KLU you have a clear schedule, you have clear coursework that you have to do by a certain date. And I think if I would have started the company while studying at the German State University, probably I just wouldn't have studied anymore because it didn't have a clear class schedule. And I think at KLU it definitely was a lot easier to combine both because you had to go to class and you had to do this homework on this coursework. I think that was a big bonus point.
So it really helped you to manage your time and dedicate this time here, this time there. I can do my company stuff during this afternoon, and et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, I think so.
Awesome. There's one of the biggest challenges I imagine for you guys to start a company is to find, okay, how are we going to do this? Because you're doing a product. It's not just a service or a tech company. You actually have to find materials. You have to find manufacturers. So how do a couple of young entrepreneurs in Germany, without any contact probably with that world, navigate the difficult systems of finding providers, finding manufacturers in the other side of the planet, because you guys have your providers in Taiwan? Tell us about this experience. How's that moment you click on the computer and say, like, I'm going to find someone in Taiwan?
Yeah, it was a lot of nerve-wracking Googling and email writing, and really took, I don't know how many. Do you remember how many months or years it took to?
1 year, I think, before we started.
Yeah, probably 1 year to find the producer we're having now. I mean, we talked to dozens and dozens of different manufacturers, but the problem was that, I mean, we could have started probably within 1 month or 2 weeks, but then it wouldn't have been possible to do like stuff as sustainable as we wanted. And it's a lot harder to actually find sustainable producers and then also to tweak the products with them and to work on the products and to make the products more sustainable. And that takes a lot of time and a lot of nerves.
So you said that you were taking almost a year to find the right provider. I imagine during a year, a lot goes on in your brains to like, oh, this is not going to work out, or we're never going to find what we really need. You said that also it's very difficult to find really sustainable providers. How did you manage mentally that load of, saying, well, am I doing the right choice? Is this still moving forward?
Well, I think before we actually had the company, we started looking for suppliers. I think we didn't have the company before we searched for the manufacturers.
Yeah, at least it wasn't registered yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and Lasse was still studying, I think, at the State University in Munich back then in 2017, 2018, and I was still working, and so the searching for the manufacturers was pretty much part-time. We had our life, but in the evening we were searching for suppliers or manufacturers. So it wasn't that big of a deal because we had our lives. We wanted to start something, and it was exciting, and so I think it wasn't so hard to make this in that long of a time.
You have all other focuses, so you were not all full into that. You have your providers now in Taiwan. Finally found a trustworthy company. And you also contribute somehow to the well-being of the employees who work for your contractor in Taiwan. What are the perks for those families or for those people who work for this contractor?
The good thing is that Taiwan already is like a really stable democracy with good working conditions. So it's, I think sometimes people mistake it for like other Eastern or Southeastern Asian countries. But Taiwan really has pretty good working conditions already. And the workers there get like health insurance and maternity leave. And if they marry, they get like, I don't know how many weeks off and or days off. And I think that's pretty great in Taiwan, that it's really already extremely good. And you don't really have to do a lot of own work as a company if you want to produce there, as you would have to do probably if you want to produce in parts of China or in Vietnam or the Philippines, right?
Mm-hmm. So you're giving sustainable products, but also a sustainable way of life for all these people. I am going to get a little bit into the gossip because I'm sure that many people who might be listening to us are thinking about this. You guys are brothers. So how is it to work in the family? How is it to run a family business? Because, of course, there is a bond beyond your professional side. So how does this bond affect you in the professional side? And how does your professional life affect your family relationship?
Yes, that's a good question, actually. I think we as brothers didn't really communicate that often. So I think we told each other about our lives when we were invited to our parents' home to dinner or to breakfast. But apart of that, I think it wasn't that close, I would say. But obviously, when the company started, that had to change. We updated us on different projects on a daily basis, on a weekly basis. So nowadays we are closer, I guess, at least in regards to communication. And I think it is a good thing that we are brothers because we can address things more directly as if we were just colleagues. So I think it is a good thing that we are a family business, and yeah.
You don't have to go on your tippy toes to say like, hey, man, this didn't work. You can just go and say that.
Yeah. And then there's also a third brother, right? We didn't talk about him yet. Hannes, our third brother, is also in the company. He's not with us today because he's living in Barcelona. But yeah, so we are 3 brothers doing this together.
Oh, yeah.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about what Hannes is doing in the company. What is his purpose? And maybe that will reach us to something else.
Yes, so Finn and me both have like business administration background. Hannes has a completely different background. He's mostly he studied public relations, international relations, politics, and is really deep into non-profit work. And that's one of the biggest parts of our company, actually. So we're not only selling the products, but we're doing a lot more than just selling the products we are producing. So we are using our company to protect our oceans and to do beach cleanups, which is what Hannes is doing. And we're really investing into researching the impact we have into the CO2 emissions the production has, into the CO2 emissions, the harvesting of the raw materials we're using. And that's a lot of work to do all the research and to not only being satisfied with saying, hey, look, we're sustainable, but also to actually research if we're actually sustainable and to look into where we can be more sustainable and what we can improve and what the hard figures are. And that's what Hannes is doing.
Exactly. So Southern Shore's mission goes beyond just the sustainability of the yoga mats. You guys are also doing these other projects. Let's talk a little bit about the cleaning the beaches. Like, how does the company get involved into cleaning beaches? I imagine in Barcelona, where Hannes is, and how does that project work on a regular basis?
Mm-hmm. Yes, so Hannes, together with his wife in Barcelona, they're doing beach cleanups every single weekend with the local community in Barcelona. And then we are also doing cleanups in Germany. We wanted to do a lot more cleanups in Germany this year, but due to the corona restrictions, we couldn't really do a lot because the restrictions were extremely hard in Germany. To do events with dozens of people. But now they are getting looser again. And so we are doing a lot of cleanups now also in Germany in different cities together with our local partners, especially like resellers we have, like shops that are selling our products at Fehmarn, which is like an island in the Baltic Sea, and then also in Hamburg, in Berlin, in Munich, with our local partners. And that's also something Hannes is organizing and then also, doing.
So 3 brothers and all of them committed to the sustainable world. We definitely need more people in this world with this same commitment. So I really, really wish that Southern Shores keeps succeeding, keeps expanding, and keeps cleaning beaches so that we can just go and have fun. But now, guys, I hope that you keep those vibrant brains of yours active because we're going to test them in our rapid fire questions.
Oh, okay.
One more time for this fast spit quiz. We have our fast spit thinker, Laura Ballini. Laura, shoot out.
Hi, Patricia. Yes, we want to see today how fast these two decision makers can reflect about their KLU experience. So guys, this is a very easy game. Quick questions, 1 second to respond, and just say the first thing that comes to your mind. And don't worry about overlapping. Just let it out. Are you ready?
Yes.
U-Bahn, S-Bahn, or bike?
Bike.
Bike.
Individual assignments or group assignments?
Group assignments.
Tea or coffee?
Coffee.
Tea.
Define your KLU experience in one word.
Great.
Exciting.
The Alster or the Elbe?
Elbe.
Elbe.
Name a teacher who has inspired you.
Himmel.
Barreau.
Tell me about your favorite KLU lecture in 3 words. Let's go.
Accounting, exciting, interesting.
I don't recall the name of the lecture, like the exact name, but it was
Just
the
describe it.
business development or startup lecture of Barreau. It was, exciting and inspiring, I guess.
Well, I think that definitely was inspiring because then you guys started your own business. Thank you so much, guys. And back to you, Patricia.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Laura. I really have fun this time with our rapid fire questions. It's much more complicated when there's 2 guests, I guess, at the same time. But seems like you guys had it very clear. So congratulations. People think more than that most of the time. So it's time to get going. But we always want to inspire a last thought for everyone who's listening to us. Finn, Lasse, one last question for you both. In this sense, I would like to hear both voices. At times, making sustainable decisions for a company is not the most profitable option. How tempting is for owners to use cheaper materials or more affordable packaging or transportation, etc., that make actually a bad impact on the planet? So from your experience, from Southern Shores experience and business, what would you tell to all those decision makers?
You want to start?
Yeah, sure. I think what you hear a lot of times is that you can earn like money with sustainable businesses. But I think what's actually true is that you can earn a lot of money with greenwashing. And that's something we're not doing, and that's pretty hard at times. Of course, it's a lot really tempting at times to just switch out materials that consumers don't really think about, maybe. But our business is about doing things that people are not thinking about because we're thinking about it. So we're trying to get the thinking out of the game and to just do everything sustainable and not leaving like something unsustainable left. And that's pretty costly because there are a lot of things that you can't really put a price premium on because people just don't care about it, even though it's important. But if people don't care about it, you also can't put a price premium on the product because you're doing it. And that probably slims your margins a bit at times. And yeah.
What would you say to these entrepreneurs, Finn?
Yeah, so, our planet has limited resources. So I think we cannot afford to do unsustainable business. And I think with Southern Shores, we showed that on the one hand, we are profitable, but having a good impact. So I think businesses have to remind themselves of which materials they use and what they are doing a part of, like only production. And there's so many things you can do as a company to have a better impact on the world and being as close as possible being CO2 neutral.
That's great. So I'm going to keep with those words that we don't have time anymore in this planet to not go sustainable. And definitely Southern Shores take a lot of accountability on that and really makes an impact and really makes this world go better. Thank you so much, Finn. Thank you so much, Lasse, for being here today with us and for sharing your experience as entrepreneurs, as students, and as people of the world, I would say. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And with this, we close our interview today. We'll hear more amazing stories in our next episode of Important Learning, KLU Stories. Until then, receive a warm greeting from who has been on this side of the waves, Christopher Estaker in the technical side, Laura Relini in the production and on the mic, and I'm Patricia Benada. Take care and keep your crane moving. Tschüss!
Discover Kuhne Logistics University in Hamburg, Germany. Learn more about their offered business and supply chain management study programs at the-klu.org.